Hello. Can you guys hear me? This is Kimra Minuti. Welcome to another live episode of Gaia Soars. Seems like we're having some internet problems. Let's see. Okay, boom. Yes. All right, everyone. Hi. This is Kimra Minuti. I totally thought that you guys could hear me earlier, but you couldn't, but now you can't. This is Kimra Minuti. Welcome to another episode of Gaia Soars. All right, guys. So this is the Mercury Retrograde edition. We are in the last, final phases of Mercury Retrograde. Hallelujah. Y'all, how are you guys doing out there? I don't know where my chat is anymore ever since I started doing lives on the page. I don't know why. So that's really odd for me. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to create a room. And if you have questions, you can ask me some questions in the room and we can see how that'll work, okay? Because I can't even see who's like saying hi to me. Who's here? Hello, person who's watching me that I don't know who it is. Like, oh my gosh. All right, guys. So, Mercury Retrograde episode of Gaia Soars. It is freaking. It's insane, guys. I'm creating a room like right now, so give me 5 seconds so I can go ahead and create a room. Oh, it won't let me create a room. Just joking. It won't let me create a room because I'm on as me. Haha, just joking. All right, anyway. So, Mercury Retrograde, guys. Everyone hates Mercury Retrograde because it gives you major tech issues, travel issues, slowdowns and business issues, and a lot of people like hate it, and they're like, everything goes wrong when Mercury is in retro for me. And I am not a person who per se dislikes Mercury retrograde. I actually really like it because a retro is supposed to be about refining, resetting, redefining, all the re's, going back and looking over what it is that you thought you had accomplished properly that needs to be fine-tuned, okay? And so this live is about what happens when you need to fine-tune something, right? So my live was supposed to be at 3:30 this afternoon. It's 10:25. Not the way I planned it. My computer had no power supply. I went to 3 different Best Buys to get the freaking power supply. And when I got to the last one, some guy parked and like walked out with the freaking one that we needed. And so I was just like, ah. I had been driving for like 5 hours. And so it's 10:30 at night because by the time I got home, it was like 5:30 and I've been driving for like 6 hours. And you see these guys? I was on crutches for 3.5 days this week. And I did my due diligence. So I just want to throw that out there, right? So you're doing everything that you're supposed to do. You're doing shadow work. You're connecting with spirit. You're getting in touch with your guides. You're seeking help, right? And you're doing your due diligence in these insane times in an effort to feel okay, right? So you've upped your self-care. Great job. And then you trip on a route and you sprain your ankle and your knee and you go, I thought I was doing everything that I was supposed to do, right? And so you get upset. You're like, wow, did I not do the work? Am I not doing as good as I should be doing? Or what is wrong with me? Or I don't think I'm cracked up to do this. Or why does everything always go wrong when I start going right? And this is something that I feel was very much echoed in the collective this week. And I wanted to voice it because I want you guys to remember that triggers happen for a reason. Triggers are a reason for you to heal yourself. Triggers are a reason for you to look at something and understand that you just missed the point that you need to like smooth over, you know? And it's sometimes it's to teach yourself a lesson about something that you were kind of not doubting, like you were doubting yourself about. It's to help actually raise your self-worth because when something bad happens to you and you overcome it, you feel prepared. and you feel like, yes, you feel like a hero. You're like, yes, I struck to the challenge. I made it to the top. Like, I did a great job, you know? And so sometimes you have to understand that when bad things happen to you, it's a result of something good that you really, really wanted. Okay. And you guys are looking at me like I'm fucking crazy because you're gonna be like, girl, you had crutches. Right. So I was on 2 crutches for 3.5 days. Why? Because prior to me hurting myself, I had an intense burst of desire, of wanting of something. I wanted something so intensely. And then I woke up on the morning that I hurt myself and I followed the impulse to frolic and move my body. Right? So I went bike riding. It felt good. Melissa was doing a Reiki session on her page. I watched her Reiki session and I got the Reiki. I took her bike riding with me. Then I was like, yes, I went jogging. That felt great. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go swimming. Right? Because all of these things are to help you push the bad energy out of your body. Okay? Like, a lot of times we consider energy and we consider excuse me, exercise to be something only for your physical body, right? And we consider that the exercise is only for your physical body and that it's just because you want to lose weight or something funny like that, right? So no, exercise has more to it than just being for your physical body. Like, you have to realize that originally we were not cubicle sitters, you know? So like, let's think back, like history wise, we weren't cubicle sitters. We were movers and shakers. We were hunters and gatherers. We were, igloo builders and pyramid pushers, things like that. The human body was made for movement. The sedentary lifestyle that we've fallen into at this point in our lives is not really serving the release of toxic energy that builds up in our bodies. Okay. So I was all excited, right? Like, I did all this movement. I'm like, yes, I'm coming back from an accident. I can jog, I can bike, I can run a little bit. I was like, okay, cool. So I put the bike up and I trip on a root and I freaking hurt myself, right? And I'm like, yo, what the I was like, what's going on here? And I looked it up. I was like, what does it mean when your knee hurts? Well, it has to do with being afraid of moving forward, right? So I was like, okay, so I'm afraid of moving forward in what manner? And so you have to ask yourself these questions. What is the question? What is the question of, why did I hurt myself? Like, did I really need to hurt myself to learn this lesson? Or is it something that I'm ignoring that this is the only way for me to freaking pay attention? I'm hard headed, guys. So I hurt myself to learn things. I got to get better at this. So, and another thing that I would like to mention is that let me mention this, when you're manifesting something that you really, really want, and that's like something that's big, that feels massive to you, when you're manifesting something that major, right? And then you go into a period of alignment where you're just linked into source and you're flowing and you're in alignment and you're following your bliss, right? And so when you get into that mode, you have at that moment the energy of the universe flowing through you, okay? And when the energy of the universe is flowing through you, you're able to leverage that energy to accomplish your tasks. So what's happening is you're manifesting good things, but you're also removing and releasing the things that you needed to remove and release. And so when you kind of like blow a gasket in a good way, you blow a gasket in a bad way. So for me, I always tell my clients, I'll just be like, hey, when you're in a really good manifesting place, that's awesome, but be aware that you'll like knock something vibrationally loose that needs to be cleared to decrease the resistance so that you can further manifest exactly what it was that you were hoping for, or even better. Okay. So like, I always like to ask the universe to surprise and delight me. I'm like, universe, surprise and delight me. Why? Because what I am brewing, I put the ingredients in. So like, it's like I put eggs, I put milk, I put cinnamon, I put vanilla, whatever kind of cake that I'm making. But it, you know, when you put a cake in the oven, it doesn't look like cake. It's after it's baked and did all this cool stuff, then it rises and you put it outside, it looks like cake. You frost it, then it looks like cake, you know, but initially it looks like vomit. Okay? So, you have to realize that when you're manifesting something, you're putting in the ingredients, but if you allow the universe to play with it, what you asked for is not exactly what you asked for. Add the caveat, surprise and delight me, because then it's actually fucking better. And that's the way I tend to manifest. So I was doing really good and I hurt myself and I had to come to terms with that. I had to come to terms with it. And I have to be real. I freaking cried. I cried. I cried for like 3 days. This week was really rough for me. You know, I was on crutches for 3 days. It was really painful. And I was like, oh my God. And I had to talk to myself and be like, Kimra, depression and anxiety are at an all-time high. You're in the vibration of depression right now because you don't feel good and you're in pain. And so you're open to all of the energy related to that sort of excruciating pain. You know, don't get locked into the depression of the collective. It's easy, you guys. When you're tired, you'll pick up the energy of other of the collective or other people or the surroundings that you're in, you know? And so one of the things that I always tell myself is just don't fall into that feeling. You know what's going on, okay? Don't lose the battle and be so mad you lost the battle that you lose the entire war, right? You're still going forward. Don't let a minor setback make you feel like you just fucked the whole thing up, because that's not the case, you know? Um, about 2 months ago, Melissa Haytu and I did an interview, a joint interview and card reading on Gaia Soars. You guys can see it on YouTube, Off Duty with Minuti, episode 3, where we talked about there being a collective tower moment coming. Okay. And we pulled cards on this, guys, like 2 months ago. And I talked to her today and I was like, yo, this is a collective tower moment, because my whole week fell down. Her clients had a lot of issues too. My family had a lot of issues. A lot of people had a lot of issues. Like, it's been super hectic. And I was like, wow, this is everybody being forced to come to terms with the little things or the big things that you need to deal with so that you can really have the life you want, that you can really, really, really have it. So I pulled some cards prior to me running this live, because I had a feeling that the stupid comments wasn't going to work. Like, I got nothing, guys. And because I'm not even on my normal setup, you guys, you see I'm not on my, like, my mic is not here. We don't have a curtain. I'm in my bed. I'm on a laptop, guys. Like, I'm just going with it, guys, because you have to remember right now, and I'm not even going to go too deep into the astrology. I'm going to be real because it's so hectic, but you need to realize that it's about shifting and embracing your shift. Like, in the moment, what is happening? Is it worth you being upset, or is it worth you just shifting to something else? Because right now it's so difficult. Like, it's so difficult to communicate with people because everyone's so triggered. Like, myself included, you know. I wasn't very nice when my ankle and my knee were like crying and screaming at me. Like, it wasn't good, you know. So I stayed quiet. And I tried not to interact with people because I didn't want to fight people about stuff that I don't actually care about, you know. Like, I don't. So some of the cards that I pulled were, oh my gosh, these are all so good. I just don't know which order I want to pull them in. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one. This one right here. This is from my Indigo Angel Oracle deck. Okay, and it is the Divine Timing card. And I love these cards. So, Divine Timing, guys. We are in a moment of divine timing right now. We just finished this intense eclipse cycle. Congratulations on surviving these 3 eclipses. They were extremely transformational, and we are still in the shadow of this last lunar eclipse, ladies and gentlemen. We have not completed that shift completely. And notable situations happening in astrology for the weekend are Chiron is going retrograde in Aries. Mars will be sitting atop it in Aries. Mercury is finally going to go direct on Sunday ish, but you'll still have the shadow of that for about 7 to 10 days. Okay. So be aware, guys. Be aware that there's like a, people call them a shadow, but I'm going to put them in like lay persons, like it's a hangover. Like there's astrological hangovers that happen like before and after the actual events. So the more sensitive you are, you may feel worse prior to an event that, or and earlier you'll get out of it, like sooner you'll be like, okay, I can think better, I can organize better, I can do stuff better closer to the end of an event. So in certain ways, like my week went really well. Like in certain ways, business wise, my week went really well because I was able to streamline a lot of my processes. But physically, it was like kind of a disaster. And I was like, yo, what's going on? So how do you figure this out? How do you figure out what's going on? So I'm going to walk you through my process. What I do, and it's not always to pull cards, so I'm going to be 1000% real, but the cards explained it. They say ask for a sign, okay? And I tell you guys this a lot if you listen to my lives, and your spirit guides are always trying to talk to you. So ask for a sign and be specific about it. Just be like, hey, could you send me something white? And then remember that you said that. Because sometimes I'll be like, hey, send me a sign. And then I'll forget the sign. Oh my God, please write your signs down that you're asking for so you remember when it happens to you, okay? So sometimes I'll ask for something like feathers. Feathers are my favorite sign to get. I love to get feathers. But butterflies are often a sign. I get butterflies a lot, and I love butterflies. Butterflies symbolize transformation and change and the ending of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle, okay? So right now, the whole planet, guys, is in that process. The entire planet is in the process of shifting into a new state of being. Oh, and that's the next card. Oh, that's the card. See here. There it is. It says, look at this one. This is from my Ask and It Is Given deck. Okay, these are cool too, guys. Oh, I don't know where the freaking camera is on this, guys. Don't make fun of me, okay? It says, I am standing on the leading edge of thought. And these cards are really cool because they have like the what it means on the back. So it says, just as all of your experiences from the time of your birth into your physical body until now have culminated into who you now are, all that has ever been experienced by all that is has culminated into all that is now being experienced in the physical life experience on planet Earth. All right, sweet. What the heck does that mean? It means we, the manifestors, right? We're out here making it up as we go along. Like we're on the leading edge of thought, creating the thoughts that make the things that create our future. And they are created in a multiplicity of ways, I guess is a better way to say it. We create our future through our children. We create our future through our gifts. We create our future through our services to others. Like these videos, they are a service to others. If someone wants to watch them 10, 20 years from now, that's a service. So there's many ways that you can be of service and that you can give back to the collective. And when you are standing on the leading edge of thought, that's exactly what you get to do. Which actually brings me to a very important conversation, guys, that I wanted to have. Goddesses, gods, and Groots. I love this saying. It's so corny, but I don't care. Guys, suicide. Okay, I want to talk about suicide. And it's hard for me to talk about suicide, but it's easy for me to talk about suicide, okay? Because first and foremost, I was suicidal for a long time. I did not attempt after probably the age of 14 to kill myself, but I wanted to many more times after that, okay? Many, 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 many more times. And so I'm not I'm no stranger to what it is to not want to be here anymore. And as a person who has come to value life so much, it troubles me. It troubles me when people don't want to be here anymore. And that's not to say that they don't have reason for it, okay? There's definitely reason for it. There's definitely reason for it. But I want you to know, first and foremost, that the purpose was not for you to come and kill yourself. That is a fear-based trap. It's a fear-based trap that means that you don't feel worthy enough to stay here, that you don't know that you have purpose, that you don't know that even if you do kill yourself, it meant something because you affected people. You always make an impact. Nothing that comes doesn't have purpose. We all have purpose. Every single one of us, even the plants, even the trees, even the bugs, even the cockroaches. People always ask me that. Even the cockroaches? Yes, even the cockroaches. They're not my favorite. They're really not my favorite. But, I mean, everything has a purpose and has a reason, you know? And it's very difficult for us to grasp that in our humanity. And it's okay. It's okay when you can't grasp it, you know? It's okay. You're allowed to be human, guys. I think that in our process of becoming spiritual, we forget that we came here for a human experience. We did. We came to have an human experience because being in these bodies, right? Being in these bodies is like a fascinating concept. I remember once my guides told me that twin flames went on missions and they didn't often get to meet each other in the physical. And so that it was like a great privilege to actually be able to meet in this body and touch and unite in this body. And that was like a real gift. And so that even though it was like a whole crazy kerfuffle to get through it, you know, like it's a mega prize, you know? And so, and I mean, that's not to just like push a twin flame concept or anything, but it's just to give you kind of a different perspective. Like, yes, this place can be a living hell, guys. Hi, I've lived here. It's been a living hell. but, but seriously, the purpose is for you to find your way out of the darkness. That's really what it is. Your purpose is to not give up. Your purpose is to not give in to fear and to not let people make your heart small and to not let the sad things that people do to you define who you truly are and make you forget what a glorious and brilliant and loving being you are. And so, like, so suicide is not, that's not it, you know, because then you didn't get a chance to explore that. And that's what I want for everyone. I want you to get out of the darkness. I want you to have the opportunity to make it to the other side. Even though I don't have a power supply. You know what I mean, guys? So like y'all, these transits are rough. They're rough. I mean, I knew they were going to be rough. They're transits that none of us have ever seen ever in our lifetimes, you know, and it's a global transit. Ooh, let's talk about ascension symptoms. Let's do that next, right? So ascension symptoms, what are you guys feeling out there? Let me tell you the feels. Dizziness, nausea, bloating, lack of sleep, overeating, not sleeping at all, migraines, this never-ending throat thing. You're not speaking your truth, and neither am I. All is well. What else? Oh, the heart palpitations. Diarrhea is probably rampant right now too. You know what I mean? What are we purging? So now that I've given you kind of like a breakdown of some of the light symptoms, what are we purging? Toxic family patterns. Period. Toxic family patterns. Whether it's with a parent whether it's with a sibling, whether it's with people who raised you, if you were adopted, even if it's people who have already passed away, guys. Because sometimes you think, oh, well, they're not affecting me, they're dead. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because they might be affecting you because you haven't completed the grieving process. They might be affecting you because they passed away before you had a chance to tell them something that you felt was important. You know what I mean? Like, something to explore, okay? How do you deal with these things, guys? How do you deal with them when they come up, right? Do you pacify yourself by taking in some sort of alcohol, drugs, weed, something, whatever? Or are you allowing the emotion to flow over you? And are you allowing then yourself to journal it out, process it out, dance it out, cry it out, shower it out? Like, how are you dealing with these thoughts and these patterns as they're coming up? Because the way that you're dealing with them will tell you whether or not you'll have to deal with them again. Okay? And sometimes, guys, sometimes you think like, damn, I already processed this. I swear to God, I already processed this. Why is it coming up again? Well, sometimes it's just coming up to be like, are you sure you got it done? Are you really, really done? Because sometimes it's like, oh, that's just a toxic knee-jerk pattern. Door slam, right? It's just for you to slam the door. Because usually when you do that door slam, right? Then the universe is like, yay, good job. Here's something because you did good, right? But if you didn't door slam and you fell back into the trap, well, then you're going to learn the lesson again, okay? Sometimes it's a nuance that you didn't notice, right? You're like, oh, I thought I dealt with this. Okay, no, I was actually a little delusional about the way that I thought I dealt with this, and there's just a little bit more, okay? So imagine yourself like a 3,000 layered onion, right? Like you're like a 3,000 layered onion. So the longer that you've been alive and you haven't dealt with any of your emotions, the longer you're going to be peeling onion skins off, you know? And something important that I feel I should bring up to you guys is that when you are, sorry, my leg is cramping. When you're first awakening and learning to deal with your emotions, right? You're going to start to experience lots of emotions and you're going to cry. And it's going to feel fucking weird. I'm just going to be totally real with you. Because I was not a crier. I didn't cry for like 15 years. It was really bad. And then I walked into a psychiatrist's office and I couldn't stop crying. Okay, and they were like, there's something really wrong with you. I was like, I know, I can't stop crying. You know what I mean? So like, don't fight the crying. Please, don't fight the crying. That's the way that your body is releasing all this pent-up emotion. It's a way for your body to purge the emotion. It's a way for you to release the emotion, okay? So if you're not crying, I am a firm believer that you're not healing, because you are, how much percent water, guys? Like 71%, some crazy amount, right? So a lot of water, which means there's a lot of cellular fluid holding sorrow and anger and trauma and pain. And do you know that the physical action of an inflammation in your body is fluid accumulating around that area that is injured to protect the body? So think about that. If physically you injure yourself and your body flushes it with fluid to protect the area and start to redistribute things, then when you start to heal yourself and your heart and you start to see all this liquid coming out of you, imagine how much trapped sorrow is in your body. You know what I mean? So don't argue about the crying. Just let it go. Just let it go. Cry. Just cry it out, guys. And men, you too. Please, men, please cry. It is okay for you to cry, and I want you to get comfortable with it, and I want you to cry wherever the hell you feel comfortable. And if someone says something crappy to you about crying, even though I don't advocate violence, punch them in the face. All right? I don't advocate violence, but I want you to stand up for your ability to be emotional. because all of this inability to be emotional is what has brought us to where we are now. Because being unemotional means you can't connect with nature and start to trust your gut instinct. And if you can't trust your gut, you can't trust your intuition, because your gut instinct and your intuition are the same thing. And if you don't have any sense of intuition, you're not connecting to source. You don't have this sense of guidance. You have to rely on outside sources and other people and books and all these other things to tell you how to do things. When you have it all in here. You have it all in here. You were born with it. It's in your heart, it's in your mind, it's in your body, it's in your DNA. It's in the waters in your body. Okay? So trust yourself. You have to trust yourself. Okay? Oh, I had a card for that. Right. You gotta look through the situation. Y'all, you gotta look through the situation. Okay? Look through it. Because there's multiple layers to what's going on in your lives, you know? Awakening is not a one-step process, you know? Spirituality, enlightenment, whatever you want to call it, it's not a one-step process. It's a multi-level, multi-tiered, multi-process situation. There's not just one way to accomplish it. There's like 50 trillion ways to accomplish it. You know what I mean? And so don't limit yourself to just one thing. Feel free to explore new situations. We are in a place of innovation. The age of Aquarius, guys, is about innovation. It's about starting new concepts. It's about building a new type of humanity. It's about forging through with a process that we have never done before, right? And so in order to manifest that kind of a new world, what kind of a beautiful disaster do you think has to happen first? Okay? So the state of the world today has many people losing faith in the long-term process. And they're not understanding that on the scale of divine timing, right? 1 year to God is a blink of an eye. And so what's feeling like an excruciating and unbearable long time to us, to the divine is not so long. And so you have to be resilient. You have to be resilient. You have to have more faith in yourself. And you have to give yourself the tools you need to make it through to the other side, guys. And I want you to use whatever tools you feel comfortable using, you know? Like, I'm always telling you guys to use sage because I fucking love it. I use it all the time. I just sage my whole room, you know? But let me show you something, and this is where the camera angles get stupid, okay? So look, all right, next to my bedside table here, guys, you can see I have this beautiful 7-day candle in red. Why? Because red symbolizes the root chakra. It also symbolizes love. And it also symbolizes being grounded, right? And these energies are really crazy. So it's like, whew, a little bit of that. Then I've also got, if you can see over here, I've got this beautiful piece of orange calcite on some selenite bars. These are clearing and cleansing, along with some smoky quartz and celestite. And then on my actual crystal dish here, I did like a little fun grid with some rose quartz, some celestite, some colored quartz, and some rose quartz for giving a lot more self-love and self-worth. Okay? Now, I don't remember if I said this to you guys, but last week I said that this is the summer of self-love, radical self-love. Why? Because the more that you love yourself, and I'm not talking about in a selfish, narcissistic, seagulls from frickin' Nemo, mine. I don't mean that. When I talk about self-love, I mean understanding that taking care of home is more important than minding other people's business. Okay? Understanding that putting myself first, because taking care of me means taking care of my family, and means that I am a better mother for others than if I don't take care of myself. That's what that means. It also means like understanding that needing to take mental health breaks is real. It means understanding that I need solitude to reset my mind after I've had a very stressful day, right? So these are all things related to self-awareness. And so you have to start asking yourself some hard questions, guys. Like, you have to. You have to do the work. And I wanted to briefly touch on this because I'm going to end this live kind of early because I'm super tired. I'm super tired. I'm going to end this live very briefly by simply saying that I healed my knee, which was sprained, and my ankle, which was sprained, with a series of teas that I had been drinking that targeted inflammation, pain relief, and strengthened the joints. I used Reiki on my knee. I used my handy dandy piece of kyanite that I love for doing all types of bone healing and such. And I iced it. I rested it. You know, I had it elevated on a pillow. I iced it all day. I rested it. I slept as much as I could because it was really hard to sleep for the first like 3 days with the freaking. It was really hard to sleep. It was painful. I would like fall asleep and I would move my leg and I'd wake up screaming. I was like, oh, it was rough. But that's how I healed my leg, guys. I healed my leg mind over matter, you know, with utilizing ancient techniques and tools and recognizing that my body is capable of dealing with this. My body is capable of dealing with this if I'm willing to deal with the pain and understand that I can talk to my body. Like, I saged my knee, guys. Like, I was like, I saged my knee, you know, and I saged my knee. I put some Voltaren gel on it topically because it was really painful. But other than that, it was Reiki, asking my angel guides to come, you know, help me heal it, and elevating it, and taking teas to help my body support the healing, and then allowing my body to do what it needed to do by actually laying down and resting, not trying to overdo it, not trying to like be superwoman, taking care of me. Because in taking care of me, then I was able to come back and survive this insanity with the technology and holler at you guys here on this live, regardless of the fact that truthfully ain't nothing go right today, guys. Like, you know that stupid meme that's like, did you really have a bad day, or did you have a bad 15 seconds that you let go out of control? And I'm like, honestly, I had a bad month, because I looked back and realized that all of my like up leveling and like mishaps started when, unfortunately, my family member's daughter passed away about a month ago, and the 1 month anniversary was yesterday. And it was very difficult for me. It was very difficult for me, and it impacted my vibration for a while. And I'm seeing the fallout of that, you know? And but it's not in a negative way, because there's other levels of my vibration that are working for other things. So while I'm dealing with the one vibration that was, you know, very sorrowful because of the passing of someone that I cared about and the impact that had on their community and their family and my family, I also had a lot of good things going on in my life, but it still caused other stuff because I had a large level of wanting, you know? So just realize that how deeply you desire something will impact how big sometimes the disasters in your life are, because a big disaster clears the way for the beautiful gift that you desperately wanted. And I can only say that truthfully because I lived through it. Like, June 26, 2017, I'm past my 3-year mark. I was in a really bad car accident. I was rear-ended, and I herniated discs in my back, and it was painful. It was horrible. It was rough, and I couldn't move or sleep, and I got fat, and it was painful. You know, like, craziness happened to me. I was diagnosed with all this stuff. I'm riding a bike, and then I injured myself, and I wanted to get depressed. But then I healed myself, and now my self-worth has been raised again, you know? So raise your own self-worth, guys. Give yourself tasks that you can succeed at so you can feel better about you. Because the most important thing is for you to feel better about you. When you feel better about you, we all benefit. Because then you're not going to be out here screaming at people about whether or not they're wearing a mask, or whether or not, I don't know, whatever it is that y'all are pissed off and screaming about. Whatever it is. It's not worth it, guys. And it's a distraction against the actual goal. The goal is for you to be so good in here that even when shit gets so like crazy, you just gotta be like, well, it's for my greater good. I'll just wait and see what the universe is gonna fucking surprise and delight me with. You know, like, period. I'm not gonna lie and act like I didn't freaking cry. I'm not. I freaking cried. I cried. I cried this afternoon for like 30 minutes in the pool because I was so upset and tired and frustrated and hot. Like, I'm a human being. Shitty things happen to me, and I react like a person. I cry about things, and I get angry, and I get frustrated about it. But do I stay there? No. Do I know what tools I need to use to get back up? Yes. So let's do a quick review. What can you do to make yourself feel better when shit falls down? 1, use sage. 2, running water. Okay? Take a shower meditation. If you can't take a shower and just have water flowing over your entire body, don't forget to cover your head, guys. Wet your hair. That'll help you cool off. If you can't do that, you're just somewhere outside, run water over your wrists, guys. Because your wrists are another chakra. They're a secondary chakra point. So if you run your wrists under cool water, you'll be able to clear and cleanse any crappy energy off of yourself, okay? So remember that. So water is always clearing and cleansing. In fact, you could even, if you are so upset about something, you could even like take your water bottle and hold it and put the intention as you're about to drink it that you're clearing and flushing and letting go whatever's pissing you off, and then guzzle that water down and let that, like, let your cells permeate with the release as the water falls into your body, okay? So that's another thing. So it's like sage 1, water 2. Crystals, you know I always have crystals. How much crystals am I wearing right now? A bunch. Crystals 3. If you don't know what crystals to use, guys, Google crystals for empaths, or Google crystals to relax, or Google crystals to release. Like, you know, you need to just Google what you want it to do, and then it'll give you a crystal. And then look at the picture. If the picture works for you, grab that one. Okay, cool. What's another thing you can use? Use herbs, right? A lot of people use herbs. You can use herbs in a bath. You can use herbs in a tea. You can use herbs in conjunction, with essential oils. You can use herbs when you're cooking, guys. A lot of people forget that the same herbs that you use in spells, witchcraft, or herbology, or any of that other stuff, you can use, those are some of the same ones you have in your kitchen. Okay, so go into your kitchen. You can use a little pinch of salt to disperse a lot of stuff. Salt water will cleanse and clear you if you're stressed out about something. Just Florida water is another one. Florida water, salt water. I'm trying to give you guys some tools. I'm trying to think what else you can do. Oh, grounding, earthing. Go outside, put your feet, bare feet, to any little patch of earth or grass that you can find. Now, here's the thing. If you're in a city and you can't find a little patch of earth and grass, right? And a lovely lady told me about this the other day, and I was like, this is smart. You go make a friend with a tree in the city, okay? The first thing you want to do is you want to love on it first. Give it some love, because usually city trees are not so loved. They're behind fences. But go give it some love, and then you will be able to start like a little friendship with the tree and do some earthing and grounding through the tree. So if you don't have earth near you, use a tree, okay? What else? Oh, breathing. Yes. Number 6, deep breathing. Deep breathing, intentional breathing. You can decrease or release, This retro has me so like incapable of communicating properly. The breathing. Deep, intentional belly breathing. Whenever you do deep, intentional belly breathing, guys, you immediately come back down. Immediately. I want to talk about, damn, I thought I was going to finish this live, but the breathing just reminded me. So those are like 7 tips for things that you should do to help you stay grounded and dealing with these energies. Food is another thing. Watch what you're eating. Try to stay away from stuff that has like really weird energies. Decrease your porn if you find that that makes you sad. I know that affects a lot of people. And then realize also that sometimes the reason you guys feel so off is because you're actually expanding. Okay, there's always a period in between your expansion and the new expansion point where you're just like this. I call it the wobble, right? So like your body feels kind of like this. Your psyche is kind of doing like this, right? And the reason it's doing like this is because it's finding its way into a new vibrational sort of plateau, right? So when you finally snap into that new vibrational plateau, you're not wobbling as much. And then you realize, oh, I was moving into another point of expansion. But the whole time that you're moving into that point of expansion, you feel really weird because you're at a new place that you didn't know you were going to, or you're supposed to be at. You didn't know how it looks, all that other stuff. So just imagine that our entire planet is in that sort of a wobble right now, right? The whole planet is doing this. Because we're moving into a place we've never been before. I'm asking you guys to be kind and gentle to yourselves. Please and thank you. Okay? Please. And on that note, ladies, gentlemen, transgender, everybody, human beings, starseeds, non-starseeds, labels, non-labels, elephants, donkeys, whatever the heck you want to do. I love you. I love you. Thank you for watching another episode of Gaia Soars. Please like and share this video with as many people as you can if you found that it was of use to you. If you need some help, please reach out to me on Silver Lining Spirals and book a free consultation. Check out some of my old podcasts on Gaia Soars, on Off Duty with Minuti on YouTube. And I just want to thank you for watching this video. And I hope that you guys are going to make it through this weekend, guys. This weekend, Mars energy. It's going to be a little interesting. Okay? It's going to be... God, I hope you just quit watching the news because it's so painful right now. Just be careful, be safe, and be kind to each other out there, y'all. It's rough enough without everybody freaking out. Okay? Love you.